This is the review sheet for World War. The way in which we appeased Hitler. Think about the events leading up to the war. Think about the Treaty of Versailles, and when Hitler would violate the treaty time after time after time, and the world appeased Hitler. Think about those steps leading up to that. Refer to your PowerPoint and notes for that. We talked about refusing to pay the war reparations, and then gradually arming either the Rhineland or then eventually invading the Sudetenland. There's about 4 or 5 steps where Hitler violated the treaty and the world appeased Hitler. Alright, then we can move into SHAFE, and this has to do with your project, the role of the Supreme Headquarters of the Allied Expeditionary Force and Eisenhower's role in that, various landing areas in Normandy. Can talk about the beaches in Normandy, whether it's Gold, Juno, Omaha, the various beaches that were a big part of those invading areas. So those are kind of the open-ended essay questions, short answer that you should be familiar with. Alright, then moving into some of the battles here. Again, talked about Midway and El Alamein. We talked about the battle for Stalingrad, a couple other ones. Remember that the Battle of the Bulge is the last German offensive in which they kind of put a last defensive maneuver, and successful in capturing or at least surrounding a lot of Marines. Eventually when they break out, though, that kind of marks the final defense for the Germans. Also then Dunkirk, when the Germans originally go around the Maginot Line here, go around with the Schlieffen Plan, quickly defeat Paris. They surround a lot of French troops right here in the port cities of Calais and Dunkirk. And the miracle at Dunkirk is the withdrawal or the evacuation of hundreds of thousands of French and British troops back to Great Britain. So the miracle of Dunkirk is a British and a French, in particular French defeat in an evacuation of the continent. Okay, then an overall strategy is to eventually fight this war on 3 fronts. So we talked about how, but down here in the south, get rid of these pictures here, but down here in the south, we have the battle in North Africa, we have the Battle of El Alamein, and the British pushing the Germans back this way. And we also have the Americans landing right here at Gibraltar and Morocco. So the British and the Americans are pushing this way and this way. And eventually they both cross onto Sicily and up the boot of Italy. So you have the American and British forces here, and then you have the Russians pushing this way. At that point then you have D-Day. So you have then the invasion here, and then you have this war on 3 fronts for Hitler, which basically led to his defeat. So that kind of mentions or talks about Blitzkrieg is the lightning war, the quick eventual or the quick initial attack by the Germans. They go around the Maginot Line. We talked about appeasement. We talked about the Sudetenland with appeasement, Treaty of Versailles, all these things you should be familiar with. And then let's wrap this up. These are all leaders that you should be familiar with. MacArthur is the American Army commander in the Pacific. Roosevelt's the American president. Montgomery is the British commander, British Army tank commander. Truman is the vice president during the war, then the president. Nimitz is the naval commander for the United States in the Pacific. Hitler's the German leader. Patton is an American tank commander. Stalin, of course, is the Russian leader. Churchill is the British Prime Minister Eisenhower is the American general in charge of D-Day, eventually president. Mussolini is the Italian leader. Rommel is the German tank commander. Chamberlain is the British Prime Minister before Churchill. And then lastly, we have these dates. So, the dates, the following dates. VJ Day is 8/14/1945. VE Day is May 7, 1945. So VE is Victory in Europe, May 7, 45. VJ Day is Victory in Japan, August 14, 1945. D-Day, June 6, 6/6/44, 1944. Pearl Harbor is December 7, 41, 12/7/41. And Hitler's invasion of Poland, which starts this whole thing, September 1, 1939. So World War II starts for Europe September 1, 1939, with the German invasion of Poland. World War II starts for the United States with the bombing of Pearl Harbor, December 7, 1941. D-Day is the American invasion of northern France, June 6, 1944. Victory in Europe is over. The European War is over, May 7, 45. And then Japan is defeated, August 14, 1945. That concludes a brief overview of the topics that we've covered in World War II.